Hey everyone, this is P4L, and today's live stream we're going to be doing an impromptu review of Mastermind Creations R24 Turben, their version of an IDW-ish Whirl, and their R25 Oberon, their version of a Beast Machines Obsidian. So I was going to do full reviews on each of these, but then decided why not just go ahead and do a live review. I haven't done one of these in a while, and I think these will be a good opportunity. They're pretty simple, so it's not going to take too long. And yeah, I just missed kind of doing live streams. So let's go ahead and get started. I see a couple of people are already joining, so wow, I'm surprised we actually have people joining. The packaging is pretty much standard from what we get from Mastermind Creations Reformatted line. No flip open covers anymore, which again is sad, but you do get nice renders of both their Whirl and Obsidian up front, and you can see Whirl does come with his sword. Oberon really just comes with his kind of propellers and his little missile launchers. On the top, we do get some more product images on the sides. Same kind of classic stuff that we've gotten so far. I guess Turben is aerial assault, and Oberon is aerial combat. I don't really know what the difference is between those two, but okay, sure. Bottom, we get the standard, oh, there we go. This standard warning labels and website information, blah, 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 blah. And then on the back is where we get some of the product images. Pretty much the same stuff as usual. We get some robot mode and alt mode. For Oberon in particular, you get to see his kind of alternate transformation that is his almost like one leg mode from Beast Machines. And then also they went ahead and did kind of that kind of gear walk mode for both of them as well, which is kind of an in-between mode for robot and alt mode, which we can do. I didn't do this in the official video manuals because they didn't tell me to do it, but we'll show that off, or at least try to show it off at some point in the review. So that's really it for the packaging. I did go ahead and take these guys out of the boxes and cut up the tape, but other than that, these are going to be actual live unboxings at the same time. The instructions I did were actually production samples, so these are brand new out of packaging. Get some styrofoam here with Whirl. Get this out of the way. Their Turben with Oberon, same kind of deal. You do get his wings, which you'll have to attach. Apparently they're taped on, so bear with me while I open this up. This is actually a change too. Originally that they were pinned on, but to make it easier and less prone to breakages, they went ahead and made it just a pegging system or something like that, a tabbing system, which is nice. These are nice, clear, translucent. Yeah, Turben, totally not Whirl. Yeah, I think again we've all kind of come to accept that their Whirl is some kind of adaptation. Same in the same vein as what's his name? Their Cyclonus. I don't remember his MMC name, but again, I can kind of understand it. I personally would have liked a more quote unquote accurate IDW version of Whirl as well. I do like the color though. The color is actually quite nice. Each of them do come with some manuals. Interesting. Oh, so I've already highlighted this, but to collapse and extend the legs, you do have to press the button on the inside of each of their shins. So with Whirl, let's take a look at what he comes with. You can see he comes with a nice plastic card. On the back, he actually has the correct image of the character on the back. And it looks like somebody just asked me if, let me see if I can scroll back. Is it worth 80 bucks? Yeah, I mean, it's up to you. I think the Whirl is. For me, that's a character that obviously is very prominent in the IDW More Than Meets the Eye series. While this may not be the ideal version for you, I think it's in line with the rest of the reformatted line. So I think it's pretty fairly priced. Would I have liked it to be a little bit cheaper? Yeah, of course. I always would like things to be a bit cheaper, especially when you collect as much stuff as I do. But that said, I think it is in line with the rest of their MMC reformatted line in terms of pricing. Sorry, we were getting off track here. The other weapons that he comes with are these kind of cannons. They're in a gunmetal gray and black finish, which I think is an added detail. I don't know if the prototype that I had... Oh, no, it did. So it has a little bit of black paint up on here, and it just pegs onto the underside of his arms. So it looks like it comes sort of mistransformed just to make it easier and more compact. It looks like all you have to do is go ahead and come up and tab this in, the tail piece, and you'll be in robot mode pretty much. Underneath here, you go ahead and tab these in. And you can also extend the arms or the fingers / hands if you want. And that's probably one of the favorite parts about this mold in particular, is that the fingers are articulated in a couple of places. There's 1-2 joints each. So you can actually get them to do quite a bit of movement and articulation, which I wasn't really expecting from this mold, to be perfectly honest. Oh, and you have to get his antenna up. But yeah, I wasn't really expecting that much from this mold, to be honest, but the fact that you are able to do that is pretty nice. And he does have a little clippy thing here for his sword. His sword is also in that kind of gunmetal-ish gray finish. And it has a little dot of gold. And 2 little peg holes here, which are going to be used for storage in his alt mode. But there are 2 places that you can use the sword. You can use them in either of his hands. So you can slice and dice, Leonardo style. Or you can go back here on the back, and it's going to be hard to see. There you go. You can see that slot here. There's actually a little indentation, 2 indentations that come on each side. The reason for that is it actually goes into this groove in the middle here and keeps it stable. So if you go ahead and push that in, it actually holds it into place laterally so it doesn't move at all. It's nice and stiff, so it's not just flopping around. I don't know if this is painted, so it does have some paint. Like I said, I think this is molded, but it's metallic, so I actually don't know if it's actually painted or not. It might be. I'm not sure. I'm not going to go either way. I'm not going to make a judgment call on that. So that's it for his accessories, Whirl's accessories. As far as Oberon goes, he does have his stat card. And on the back, he has some semblance of him in a very darker bluish color on the back, and his stats. So yeah, get rid of those. One of the things that he does come with, and it really only has one use, are these missile pods. And as with Whirl, they kind of peg on here. It's a different molding for the arm, but you can go ahead and peg these on. It's a really nice tight fit. I guess you could put it on top as well, but I think that might look weird, and I don't know if that's going to run into any interference in alt mode. We can try that later. And as I said before, you take these little propeller pieces and go ahead and just peg them on. They have a little satisfying click, which keeps them pretty secure, so they're not going to come off. And they do spin quite well, as long as you don't run into any interference. So here are the 2 robot modes of the respective Turben and Oberon. Very quickly, I think some people were getting very hyped about some of the reveals in some of these instruction manuals. I think it's this one. So here was the convention exclusive Calibos Asterix mode that we saw at TFCon Toronto. That's pretty much old news. However, what P4L showed earlier on Twitter was that there's a second convention exclusive this year. This is their Calibos SG, so R27 SG Calibos Shadow Ghost, which also is in reference SG for Shattered Glass. And a lot of people are asking, is this the Shattered Glass form? And is the notorious mustachioed Rodimus going to be revealed? Yes, he does have a mustache. I've seen the pictures. So if you really like the mustachioed black and purple Rodimus, you're going to get your chance. And I think it's going to be at TFCon DC and maybe some Asian conventions. I'm actually not sure. I might be talking out of my butt on that one, but I have seen it, so it is coming. It looks pretty good. I'm not a big Shattered Glass fan, so I'm probably not going to really be that interested, but it does look really nice, and those of you who like the Shattered Glass world or universe are going to be very happy with that. I do really like the asterisk mode one though, the more than meets the eye, well, I guess lost light version. So let's take these one at a time. Well, let's just do a quick 360. They are the same mold, but they are heavily retooled. You can see that on the back in particular with the tail fins here. The way that the transformation works, they have this kind of armature for Whirl that folds up that doesn't exist here. And obviously the big propellers exist on Oberon that don't exist here. The forearms are vastly different, but overall I think that's about it. The legs look by and large the same, with the exception of some paint applications, and the rest of the molding looks pretty much the same as far as I can tell. Head being different, so it's not as big of a difference as we saw with, say, the Cyclonus mold or the Death's Head mold, whatever they were called. Definitely not as heavily retooled in more places, but mostly the wings and mostly the backpack area for alt mode. So if you're just joining, like I said, the arms or hands can extend or contract, and they are articulated. I really like Oberon's just because it does have it has a lot of translucent red, and I just like the color of that, and it is articulated in a couple places for each finger, so you can get it kind of bent up like this if you'd like. Kind of reminds me of Omega Supreme kind of hands in terms of what you can do as far as articulation goes. So let's take a look at these one at a time. I'm going to go with Whirl first, and so I'm sorry if I'm missing some of the questions as well. I'm trying to review, and I don't look at the screen typically when I actually shoot. So with their Turben, I really like the colors. So I think they've been working with, who have they been working with? Lazy Azza, or I don't even know how you pronounce his screen name, but they've been working with him to get some more color accuracy, and I think it's worked out really well because this looks really nice. I love the blue on this. It's a kind of a sky bluish color, and it has some dark blue pieces here and there with some silver and black, obviously. And I like the painted yellow eye. I don't think they had that originally painted, but that looks quite good. But as with most Mastermind Creations figures, it is really nice plastic. Nothing to worry about in terms of breakages, no flimsy parts as far as I could tell. The only place that you should be careful with is the antenna because it is fairly thin. It's not fragile, I would say, but when you have to transform it, you have to make sure to have enough clearance to not do any breakages. Let's see what else. What else was I going to talk about? Oh, so yeah, let's go ahead and talk about the alternate transformation for the leg. So he can do the check-in leg mode as well. So they did the warning, and this is a new addition, which they didn't have at the early versions. You go ahead and depress this button to extend the legs out. So you push that, extend it out, and then you can kind of chicken leg him. So if you like your Whirl chicken legged, you can do that, or you can, why isn't this coming out? There we go. But if you don't, you can have him the other way. So it doesn't really matter. I like Whirl kind of chicken legs, so that works really well. The chest also has some articulation, which allows you to kind of stick it out more, or you can have it collapsed in a bit more. It really depends on you. If you want to differentiate the two molds a little bit more, you have a little bit of that with the legs and the chest, which I like. There we go. Articulation wise, he does have a swivel and a hinge for his head, and then his whole neck is actually on a platform which rotates in for transformation. His shoulders go around like so, can come out like that. He does have a bicep swivel and double jointed elbows, which facilitate transformation. Here, let me scoot down just a little bit. Does he have a forearm? Yeah, he does have a forearm swivel as well as a bicep. The hands are, or what would be the wrists, can go around. Yeah, so sorry, somebody just asked me if you can have the cannon out. Yes, both of them do have cannons which can come out like this if you want to do that. Oberon's is translucent red. So you can have a little pew pew action in robot mode if you'd like. I don't really like that, so I'm just going to go ahead and fold that in. Getting back to articulation, we already talked about the hands, how each of the quote-unquote fingers or claws are articulated into pin places like so. You're going to need to keep them in this orientation if you want to collapse them in, and again, that's an option. The guns can swivel on that post or peg, whatever you want to call it. One small detail that they added is that these propeller pieces, blades, do twirl, which is wholly unnecessary, but kind of nice that they have it. We talked about his chest being able to extend like that. He does have an ab crunch, which is mostly for transformation, but you can make use of that. And you can get a bit more if you pull out the chest like that. You can see it works quite well. Waist swivel. Thighs are ratcheted. Nice and buttery. Ratchet going outwards like that. It's a softer ratchet. His legs and knees. Both of his knee joints are ratcheted. And they can go up quite a bit. So if you had it both collapsed, you can get it. Here, I guess I'll show you on this guy. You can kind of get it like this. It does break up the look of the knee on the bottom though if you use that joint. But on the chicken leg version, I really like this look. A little Z action. His ankle is a big ball joint, as you can see back here. So you get some tilting action and forward and back. The foot is one entire mold piece though, so no articulation on the separate toe or heel. But he does have this foot armor, which can get out of the way to give you a little bit more articulation. And I think that's it for robot mode. He does have this backpack piece. Again, it's for transformation, but if you want to really quickly show his kind of gearwalk mode, go ahead and just rotate his head, get his antenna down, and make sure this is kind of flat. This platform is kind of flat. Flip this up, and all you really need to do is bring up the backpack here. Make sure. Oh, do I have to get this out of the way first? Yeah, you just need to make sure that this platform is flat because it tabs in there. So I guess you can do something like this. I'm not exactly sure how they have it displayed on the back of the box, but probably something like this. And you can even get his waist or chest folded back up with that ab crunch if you want to make it his center of gravity a little bit towards the back. So I guess this is somewhat of what they did. Let me check the box really quickly. Let's see, is this what they did? Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, they just had it like this. I think they got rid of the wheels, moved down the wheels a bit. Maybe they got the wheels out of the way. And that would allow you to get this waist piece in. Oh yeah, if you move the wheels out of the way a little bit, it looks like you can get in even deeper into the cavity, which will have his gearwalk mode. So that's it for this guy. Let's go ahead very quickly before we get into transformation to robot mode for Oberon. Oberon pretty much has the same stuff, right? So same articulation, his head's on a swivel, stuff like that. Same shoulders, same arms, blah, 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 blah. His difference here is his forearms. And I guess, again, you could take these missile pods out, or missile blasters, whatever you want to call them. You can take them out here, really tight fit. And I guess you can plug them up top if you really want to do that. I think that looks kind of weird, but whatever you want to do with your toy, it's fine. Everything on at the rest of the body is the same. And again, if you want to extend the leg and do the chicken leg mode, just remember to press that button. You can have one of each if you want. And then when you collapse it, go ahead and just press that button again. Collapse it all the way down. The backpack is a little bit different, like I said. So if you want, you can have this facing up like so. You can have these kind of horizontal. For his alternate mode, what they do is kind of push this, go like this. I say it's alternate mode, but I guess alternate transformation. You can go like this, bring this down, and it's more like his Beast Machines incarnation, where he had kind of like the one leg here. I've seen other photos, and what I've done before in the past is actually turn the thighs inward and tab them together like this. And this is kind of what you have to do for transformation. But I found that this was quote unquote more accurate. Oh, sorry, I had to collapse these first. Was quote unquote more accurate looking in terms of his Beast Machines incarnation. The only downside to this is that you don't get use of the articulation at the knees, so you don't really get to get that bend that you would really like out of this mode. So whatever, you do have those options, plenty of options. The difference here that I really like is the metallic red here and the translucent red pieces. Those really do pop quite a bit. While I do like the color, because I'm a blue guy, light blue guy, I do like the Turben colors overall, but the translucent red and metallic red paint, I think are really well done on Oberon. Let's just collapse this up. So very simple. Very quickly, let's do some comparisons with some figures I just currently have around. We're talking about Calibos, one of their most recent figures. Their Spartan, which is probably one of my favorite figures that they have. Since looks like Ed 209 from RoboCop. Yeah, he kind of does. Since I do have him, I haven't done a review or instructions on him yet, but I just took him out of the Ziploc bag. Here he is compared to their Megatron, or I forget what they called, what his name is, but you can see how he stacks up in terms of height. Oh man, was Oberon always off screen that much? Anyway, you can get an idea of how tall they are. This guy's review or preview will come probably later this week, in the next day or two. I might do a live stream for that as well, just to keep it a little bit more fun and lively. Tyrant Ron, yeah, that's what his name is. They always have to have Tyrant in his name. And he does have the alternate pieces for his pre-Megatron Decepticon days. That's what was featured here. Well, actually, you know, since we're spoiling stuff, let me see what else I have of his. So yeah, he comes with a whole bunch of stuff. He comes with a bunch of arm cannons. He has two, I think. He has this one, which is more of a laser cannon, and then they have the other one, which I can't seem to find right now. I hope I have it, because that's gonna be really a bummer if I don't have that piece. I don't see it right now. Okay, well, I'll keep looking for it. I don't know exactly when the release dates are for each of these figures, so apologies for that. I don't know if he was pushed back, but I know that they have still some secret features yet to be revealed, or accessories that have not been revealed yet, so I'm not going to spoil any of that, but I know that there's some secret features which I think are pretty boss. Alright, so let's go ahead and transformation. They're both pretty much the same. Let's go ahead and get rid of the sword here. We've already done partial transformation here, so let's just continue with that. Once you get the head hidden, that's kind of step one. Step two, I like to do with the arms. Go ahead and get the fingers all straightened out so that they're at a point. And then just use this tab piece to collapse them in. You don't really need to collapse them in if you don't want, but it's for transformation, so you should. Go ahead and use a double elbow joints and tab here to get it tabbed in like so. Same thing on this side. And you're going to rotate them forward. And then you can see they're both on sliding joints. So you're going to want to pull back as far as you can. Sometimes you think you're done, but you're not. You have to get it all the way back. Same thing on the other side. It's the first time transforming this figure, so it's all the tolerances are a bit tighter. I'm hoping they loosen up just a little bit. And then you flip these pieces down. Did I get all the way back? And those tab in to secure the arms into horizontal orientation. Go ahead and flip this tail fin back on the double hinge and tabs in here and here. At this point, I guess you can go ahead and do these as well. These tab in at the front, and then straighten these out and tab these in at the back. These become kind of the tail fin or whatever. There we go. The lower body is quite simple. Go ahead and collapse the leg. Again, making sure you use that button as to not damage your figure. There we go. Rotate the thighs 90 degrees outwards. Point the toes. Collapse the armor here. And then tab the two halves together. There's a couple of overlapping tabs here and then another set down at the bottom. Wow, these are really tight right out the box. The other thing you want to do is get these thigh covers, which I didn't mention in the articulation, but yeah, they have these thigh covers here that rotate. Make sure they're facing forward. Get the legs straightened out in orientation with the hips, and then rotate 180 degrees, and then flip all the way up. When you flip up, there's going to be tabs here and the little pegs here on each side. Just want to make sure everything's kind of aligned, tabbed into place. From here, if your wheels weren't already extended, landing gear, you can do that on the front, and then on the legs he has 2 other wheels along the back, like so. And again, if you want to pop out the gun on the front, you can do so. And there is Turben in alt mode. Oh, sorry. Like I said before, in the sword, he does have 2 pegs here that correspond to these tiny peg holes. Oh, so peg holes that correspond to these tiny pegs. So he does have weapon storage. Let me see if I can actually get this on, because they're located between these kind of struts. It's hard to get access to this, but there you go. That's how it stores. It only stores in that one orientation facing backwards. Same thing with Oberon. We'll do this very quickly. Collapse the fingers so they're pointy. Go ahead and push those in. Double elbow joints to get these tabs in. Flip up these propellers just to get them out of the way. Head will just push straight back down. No need to like twist and turn like you did with Whirl. The key thing is here to make sure that this platform here is flush, and that tabs into the front. Get the wings out to the back like so. The arms, scooch them all the way back. Keep going, and then flip down this tab on the backpack. Come on. I'm sorry, and again, I'm sorry if you're asking questions and I'm missing that, but if you have any questions, go ahead and let me know. I'll scroll back every once in a while. Let's see, there we go. The legs, same thing. Go ahead and rotate them out like this. Get the toes out, like such. Tab in the 2 legs together. Rotate at the waist and make sure that these thigh covers are facing this way. Then go ahead and rotate it all the way up at the waist joint. I think I did everything right. Should be, I don't know what interference I'm running into. Oh, I'm good. Yeah, I was good. I don't know what I thought I was running into something, but I wasn't. I'm good. Get the landing gear down. And then lastly, these these propeller pieces will kind of tab into the front and lay flat. Like so. And there we have both of these guys in their alt modes, respective alt modes. Pretty much the same. The big difference here are these struts and the propeller pieces. This alt mode for Turben or their Whirl kind of reminds me of a Halo spaceship. I don't know why. Maybe it's the canopy or maybe it's these struts. No, these are not very fragile. I mean, they're translucent plastic and they flex a lot, but I have no concerns that unless you're going to manhandle them that they're going to break. Yeah, see? They flex quite a bit, but they don't feel flimsy in terms of breakages. I wouldn't worry about that. I do wish there was a little bit more articulation in alt mode, like if the canopy opened, which would have been great, but they don't have that. You do again have this gun, the weapons can twirl, this twirls. You can rotate his hands if you want, but by and large, aside from the wheels, there isn't that much articulation in Whirl's alt mode. These do spin quite lovely. Oh, so one of the things that you can do here, which I didn't really show off, but is actually supposed to be by design, is these can also tab into the arms if you want. You don't have to, but if you want some extra quote-unquote stability for the propellers, you can do that. It's a very shallow and not very tight tab, so it's not really essential, and I don't think it adds a whole lot to the alt mode, but it's there. And as I expected, you can't really use the missile pods on the top because I forgot the propellers get in the way. But yeah, that's it for transformation. Let's see, were there any other questions? No, it looks like I think I got them. All right. So yeah, I do wish there was a canopy opening section or something like that, articulation. That would be kind of cool, but they are pretty small cockpits, so I guess it's not a huge deal. The difference being, again, he has clear one and he has yellow, and I do again like the metallic panel lines, red metallic panel lines that they have here. They look really nice. The tail fins do look different on the back, but by and large they're the same mold, what you would expect from mold mates. I could go ahead and go transform back into robot mode. I don't know if that's really necessary. Pretty easy transformation, but while I do that, why don't I take any questions? Holes for flight stands. Holes for flight stands. Oh, yeah. I guess he does have a really big hole here. I don't know. Do I have a flight stand? I'm trying to think. I don't think I have a flight stand. The only flight stands I have were the Seeker ones, and those definitely won't work. I'm trying to think. Maybe... I'm wondering if these are generic 5mm pegs. Give me a second to see if I can find a weapon with a 5mm peg to see if that would be here. Oh yeah, yeah. So I guess you could mount a 5mm peg weapon on the bottom of these guys too. So it's right on the back side of the crotch. So it would work really well if you have a flight stand that's compatible with that. Yeah, both of them have it. I'm sorry I don't really have one readily available. I don't use flight stands all that often unless they're included with the figure, and I'm trying to look around. Yeah, unfortunately I just don't have anything in arm's reach, or that's not behind 5 billion toys that that would make it easy for me to display the flight stand. But they do have the capability apparently. Alright, so I'll go ahead and take some questions if you want while I transform these guys back. I'll actually transform Oberon into his gear walk mode since we didn't do that before. I could, I guess, supposedly take questions on Megatron, Tyrant Ron, but now I'm really concerned that I don't have both of his cannons. That's going to be a real big bummer if I don't have his cannons, both of them, to do the review and instruction manual. That's going to be really bad. Especially since I was in charge of packing them to make sure I had all the pieces. So yeah, here's kind of Oberon's gear walkish mode. You can have his arms out like this, or you can go ahead and bring the arms down once you have this untabbed. 1 billion toys? No, I just get lucky since I do the official manuals. I will be at TFCon DC. TFCon DC is actually not even, I think it's like maybe 10 miles from my house. I'm actually based in Northern Virginia, which is where TFCon DC is. So I'll be there. I'm not even going to stay at the hotel since I'm so close. But I will definitely be there. So here's his kind of gear walkish mode, which again is kind of a nice bonus. Does landing gear roll? Yes, the landing gear does have working wheels, and these spin, and the propellers here do spin, although these are kind of more tightly toleranced. MP Trax flight stand might fit. I don't know where my MP Trax is. Oh, I do see him. I don't have his flight stand out. Yeah, so Elvis, these do spin, and the landing gear do work. So here's his gear walk mode. Let's go ahead and leave him like this for now, and we'll get Turben completely transformed into robot mode. So same thing for him. Let's go ahead and untab this. The first thing I do here is take care of these struts. So this is thinner plastic, but there's enough, tolerances and leeway where I don't think you'll break them unless you're like really trying. Like I'm pulling this much, and it's no issue. So just be not stupid about it, and you shouldn't have any damage to these guys at all. Go ahead and do that. Untab the lower body, extend that down. We can get this tabbed up. Finish off the legs real quick. Split both sides. Remember to rotate the legs the correct way, as well as the thigh covers. Rotate at the waist 180 degrees. Get the feet down. And again, depending on how you want the legs articulated, with straight or chicken leg mode, use this button here. I'll leave him in the regular leg orientation. Go ahead and scooch up the landing gear. Get in the gun. Flip up these panels that hold the wings, or I guess not wings because he's a helicopter, but you know what I'm saying, the side arm pieces in place. Get them on that sliding joint all the way forward. Get the arms down. And then lastly, you're just gonna pull down the backpack and get the head out of here. His head is a little bit harder to get out just because it's bigger and flatter. Get the antenna up. And the last thing you have to do when you have to be mindful when transforming these guys is when you pull this back down, make sure these flaps are all the way in, because it does slot in between those two flaps and this main body piece, like so. There's a pretty compact backpack. Oh, and as I mentioned before, you can get the hands extended out or leave them kind of sunken in. It's up to you. Sword in his left hand this time. I kind of like the wings shield or whatever, or like the propeller shield. It kind of makes it look like it could be a makeshift shield as well. Although I guess it's not a very good shield if you have holes in it. Did I miss any questions? I think we're good. I think we're good on questions. So I'm gonna go ahead and sign off here in terms of this review. Again, just wanted to keep it really quick and short. These were ideal figures to do a live stream on because they're very easy to transform and they won't take forever like I did with Megatron, Masterpiece Megatron, which took a really long time. Last minute call for questions. Otherwise, we're going to sign off today. And again, keep an eye out. I do have some other samples that I'll be doing in the next couple days. The other thing that I got picked up today, which I'm going to do a review on, is that Diecast Metal Voltron. I think P4L did a review on that as well, so he was quicker on the draw on that than I was. But I just picked that up from Target. Boreas. Where's my Boreas? I don't know where he is right now. Let me see. I have no idea where he is. He's probably in this big pile of boxes somewhere. I don't have Boreas on display as far as I can recall. I didn't really like that version of Cyclonus. I thought it was better for the Death's Head version of the mold. Personally, that's my opinion. I still use the, what's his name? Was it Generations Cyclonus with the Make Toys upgrade kit. I think that looks more like an IDW Cyclonus, so that's the one I use for my display. I can do that if you give me a second. Let me pull that one out, since you guys will have, that way you'll have some frame of reference. Give me a second. I'm gonna be radio silent for a bit. So this is the Deluxe Cyclonus from a while ago. Obviously this is not an ideal scale, but it does have the Make Toys upgrade kit to it. And this is probably not actually a good angle. It's not very representative since I'm kind of angled down, but something closer like this. So it's not ideal, but I think he looks way more accurate than the MMC Boreas. Their version of Cyclonus. I just don't think that looks like an ideal version. So for my display, I have this guy on display. But if you want something more in scale, I don't know. Didn't they do a Combiner War Cyclonus, which I thought looked kind of terrible as well? So I don't know. You might be hurting for a Voyager-ish IDW Cyclonus for a while. Did I miss any other questions? Generations with Hurricane upgrade. Yeah. I am TFC. That's clearly what I use. I mean, I thought the figure was okay. Boreas was okay. I just didn't think the mold was very good for Cyclonus. Alright, it looks like we don't have any more questions. I appreciate the time, everyone, spending time with me on the live stream. I want to do more and more of these. If you guys have any other questions or comments, once this goes live, you can leave them in the comment section, and I can go ahead and respond to that when I have time. But otherwise, that's going to be all for today. Hey, was it Angel? Hey, Angel, how's it going? Thanks, Gabriel. Thanks for joining. Hope you guys have a good one, okay?